welcome to the Tribe UG podcast. Man, we didn't start well, but let's go ahead. If you're watching, you realize Ian is not here. There was a minimum height requirement for this episode.
Whoa. Well,
and he didn't make the cut.
Wow.
They even gave him extra shoes, those with big soles, the Balenciagas, but still he couldn't make the cut.
Wow.
But welcome to the Tribe UG podcast. As usual, my name is Felix Biarhanga. And I'm with a new co-host. She's still new until like episode 10.
I feel like you guys need to get used by now. Hi everyone, Damzi here. Episode 5.
Yeah.
Yep, episode 5. The hooligan at the end. Introduce yourself.
Episode 5, season 3. The cow marketer in the building. And we are here to disturb you people with a little more talk. But we brought someone special. Somebody special is in the building.
Wagwan, guys. It's Sharii Brown, Ambassador Brown. Hi.
Yes. Today we are joined by someone who is multi-talented. She has done it all. Film, music, events, photography, content. So we are going to get in everything and... I was going to say anyway, but let me behave.
Yeah, let's just limit it to everything.
But since he is not here, I will be the hooligan on his behalf.
On his behalf.
But Shari, welcome to the Tribe UG podcast.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm really excited.
Thank you for honoring our invite. Thank you for honoring our invite.
Hey, sorry, I didn't hear you. I was like, what's the question? Thank you for having me. Let's go.
Yeah, but where do we start from? Like for you, where did your creative journey begin? Because as we got the bio, you've done everything. So
Yeah, pretty much.
I've tried everything.
Pretty much, yeah.
Where did my creative journey start? This is cliche, but I honestly think it started as a kid. So my siblings are all a lot older than me. So I spent a lot of time at home alone. My parents would go to work and I was just in the house alone. And like I have memories of being like 7 and like going outside and like putting on concerts for the plants. Like I would literally go outside
plants.
and like whatever childhood songs I thought were amazing, I would sing for them. My grandfather is a poet. And I used to think that was so cool and I wanted to be like him. So I was like a 10-year-old writing down poetry. Hey. Sometimes I would still like Lauryn Hill lyrics and pretend they're my own in my poetry book. So I feel like at that point I didn't know what I wanted to be or what I would do with creativity. But I think it started then.
Climate change is real, guys. Plants are being performed for.
You know, that's funny because that reminded me of the time I asked Damzi, Damzi, so when did you realize you could sing? And then Damzi was like, yeah, you know, before growing up, I thought everyone could. And then I was there, like, look at other people, like, you can't?
Must be
what
nice.
is wrong with you?
Must be nice.
You know, the other week, we did our first edition of 256 Myths and Beats. And
which was amazing.
And
it was such a vibe. It was such
Everyone
a vibe.
should be like Shari. She was there.
No, but like we've of course, one of the things that people in our industry, most of our listeners would know you for is the Xpressions events that have been a problem for a while now. And having attended and made noise at a few of them, with the ninja over there. How did all this, like, how did it all come about as a co-founder of the Xpressions
You already know. Okay, so Xpressions started with my co-founder is Keith Lubega. What happened was we were hanging out one day and we were just like, man, there's so much. So, okay, you guys, there's a time in our lives where you've just come back from uni. You're just lounging around. You can hang out with your friends Monday to Friday. But every time we were together, we found we were listening to Ugandan music and new wave Ugandan music. And we were just like, why is this not what we hear when we're out? Why is this not what other people are listening to? Like, why are we vibing alone? That was the first thing. The second thing is we used to watch, I don't know if you guys know Colors on YouTube. We used to watch it a lot and be like, so many Ugandan artists and African artists deserve to be on it. And we were like, but why don't we create our own? Why are we waiting for them to see us? And I won't like, Keith talked about this idea of Xpressions for so long and I was very hesitant. I think I was like, oh my gosh, can we do it? How will it be? Do we have money? Until one day we were like, you know what? Let's do it. we built our team. We reached out to people that we thought could handle like different aspects of it, the business side, the video side, the marketing side. And then, 2021, we started Xpressions. Our first live session, I remember we did our first live session with Akini and Conrad. I think at that point, they each had like 3 songs out, but we needed the show to go for like an hour or at least like 45. Wow. So imagine you're just the same songs, and then you're like again because what else is gonna happen? But now we're here 2023 and things are still happening. And
interesting. So there's something you mentioned in there, and you say you try to get the different components that make a good event, right? I think I think my question is derived from there. Like, there's a lot of people who are trying to come up with events. I mean, we did, meets and beats 256. Like, what are like the key things that you think people should have before they have events? Because the events we've been to, and you're like, oh my Lord, what is going on here? You know what I mean? So, and especially a lot of artists who are trying to get into, creating their own events and stuff like that. I think from a perspective of someone who has done it, what are the maybe 5 things that you think someone must have to be able to put on a good event? Or at least must have in mind,
Okay, I think the first thing for me, which is really important, is marketing. You need to have a marketing person. And I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to marketing and content creation, it's the last thing on their minds. They think, we'll figure it out, we'll do it. But I think it's so important. Marketing, PR kind of stuff. Next thing is, man, you need to have that person who can do artist management, talk to the artists, rehearsals, help them prepare for the show. I think it's very important, the relationship you build with the artists, but also how much you pour into them in terms of professionalism. For me, it's important that when artists come on Xpressions, they leave having learned something about professionalism. I'm not throwing shade, but I think often as creatives, we forget that part, that we need to be professionals.
That's true.
So you need someone who can build that relationship with them and grow with them in the time that they're working with you.
Right.
I think you also need a business person, a money person, an accounts person, because as creatives, sometimes we forget those bits. We forget the nitty-gritties. But also having someone who is okay, we're doing this thing, we're doing it for the culture, but this is where we can also make money so that we can do more things.
Right.
It's very important. I think you need to have your visionary on board, because what's a team without a leader? What's a team without someone who can motivate guys when they're like, man, why are we doing this thing? It's not moving. I think for me, I think I've said 4 things.
You can just add, please. Keep going. Don't count. Who's counting? The count is
I don't know. For me, it's also I don't know if this is the right word for it. I call it like a music director, but someone who has a good understanding of music and the technicalities of music, to pay attention to the sound in your space, the live sound, this track, I think it will be good with a band. This other track, let's use half track, half band. That's so important. I think those are, for me, right now, the most important roles.
Okay. Which makes sense. I mean, I've seen people try and be the organizer, the music director. You find a one-man show. I think this is a good note for people to know that you can't really do it alone, because if you're the performer and then you're the business guy, then you're the money guy, then you won't do it.
Also at that door collecting ticket money.
Speaking of collecting ticket money, if you want to support the podcast, you know what to do. Send some money to 624404. That's 624404. Yes. I'm the money person. And listen, people, I know some of you heard her say Ambassador Brown earlier. Please, peep it. She didn't speak it, wear it.
I came ready.
I think we should have a moment for Ambassador Brown. You go. 2 minutes of your time.
Just Ambassador Brown. It's Sharii Brown, aka Ambassador Brown. If the brown doesn't make sense, as you can see, I sell something brown. I'm the Jameson brand ambassador. I think my favorite thing about that brand, or working with that brand, is how much of a platform it has made for creatives. And that's my favorite thing about being part of Jameson. Jameson cares about artists, cares about people in fashion, cares about people in food, all the alternative things that I think a lot of brands don't think about. That's what Jameson is about. It's also an amazing whiskey. It's actually the only whiskey that is triple distilled and twice as smooth. So that's who I am when it comes to Jameson.
We need
But
them.
we're
We need
black
them to care. We need them to care about podcasters.
So I feel like
They are coming.
it would be nice if we were, all dressed in Jameson,
In that green.
all looking, green and wonderful, representing the brown.
I will
representing the
be the
green.
messenger. I will take your message.
Yes, wonderful.
team.
Producer, better cut that clip to her. But speaking of Jameson, you do the Jameson and Friends, the Jameson Hangout, and it's a system. The first time I went, Shari actually, after I had done the Xpressions wrap up 2022.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
I even forgot.
she told me about it and she hooked me up and we went and we applied the system and it was really dope.
Yeah,
I had myself a good time.
Wama, where were you with Shari? Because it seems now it's
everyone
for
is talking
saying.
about Shari
Yeah,
experience.
Wama, you at Mix and
Well,
Beats.
this is our first one.
There'll be more now. There'll be more.
No, but like, so I don't know. There's another one coming up soon, guys. 24th. Better apply the system because it's going to be a good one. But like, what for you makes the Jameson Hangout special?
Okay, so first of all, monthly we have Jameson and Friends.
Yeah.
And then maybe like twice or thrice a month we have Jameson Hangout.
yeah.
And that's
Okay.
what we're having this month. So it's
Okay.
a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But I think for me what makes them special is, first of all, we try to create like a daytime vibe.
Yeah.
And we try to create a space where you can come and you can drink, but that's not all that you're there to do.
Yeah.
Like if you like to play games, there are games. If you like Ugandan music, there's a lot of Ugandan artists, on the lineup.
Yeah.
If you want to just come and chill and bond and connect, if you want to create content, like we try to make a space that
Is
you
for
will live with
creatives,
memories other
basically.
than, oh my gosh, I draw.
If you want dope photos by walk,
yo.
Also, I wanted to ask Shari, like, as a creative and for very many creatives in the industry, one of the things that they can benefit from is becoming brand ambassadors, right? I think it's
That's a
something
fact.
that they can benefit from. And as someone who is a brand ambassador, I'm not sure how that came about, but like how can artists, how can creatives position themselves to, get into spaces where they're representing brands? Because I know it would add value to them. Yeah.
I think the first thing is like, and I've mentioned this before, like your professionality, guys,
Yes.
as a creative, as an artist, it will show. People you work with will notice this artist is always on time. This like they will notice those skills that you have beyond your talent, and they will see the potential for you to do more and do more for a brand. Another thing that I say is how you present your brand. Like there's a lot of people who, because they now know I'm affiliated with Jameson, they come and they're like, I want to be on your platform. And I'm like, that's great. You're talented. But like, do people know you on Twitter and Instagram? Because that's important. Because I'm also working.
What's
I'm also
your
pushing
brand?
something. So
Yeah.
do you have a voice?
Right.
Because your voice is important. When you have a voice, you stand out a lot more. So those are two things that I think are very important. But also be intentional about the kind of brands you're reaching out to. Because the truth is, I love Jameson from my core, but as an artist, Jameson might not be the brand for you. Maybe there's another brand that's your
true.
brand.
Yeah.
So think to yourself, what am I capable of representing? What vibe do I give off? What comes authentically for me?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense to work with a brand where you're like, this is not who I am.
Like a
So-
milk brand when you're lactose intolerant.
Like how?
If the bullion is bullioning, you just go.
no, it's like I was like Dumsy last week was talking about being intentional in the merch we create and sell, knowing our audience and who we are selling to and what. And I think the reverse is true when you're looking for a partner. You see, it's that type of thing where I'm wearing pandas a lot. How about I
shout out to them,
it's
yeah.
natural,
Exactly.
it's easy. It's I go to maybe
Exactly.
meet guy a lot. Oh, I do this at Niati a lot. I do that. Like there's just those things where
Yeah.
it just makes sense because the natural, like the fit or the understanding even of their product. Because like you're not going to talk about that triple distilled if you've never drunk whiskey. But like, yeah, you're going to be there, family with it. The word may even fail, So like, I feel like it's really dope, and it's really good what you're doing. And I saw the
Thank you.
incorporation of Jameson into the Xpressions.
That's actually, to be honest, that was before I became brand ambassador.
Oh.
Yeah, so that.
So she was even
things
focused
align.
before.
Things
It's
align.
tough.
Things align.
I guess
Things
I think
aligned.
for me the key thing there for people to learn is be intentional about the brand you're creating for yourself.
Yep.
Be consistent about your brand and like respect your brand. Don't come and queswaza on the interwebs because brands don't. I swear to God, brands are not going to work with someone who's messy.
That's a fact.
A lot of brands are going to be like,
fact.
yeah, you're too messy. I'm so sorry.
Unless you're Lionel
and a
Messi.
big point is, let me tell you can have the biggest numbers. By the way, you can have millions of followers, but you're messy or there's something. Guys,
you're always in some drama.
Yeah, guys won't want to work
So just be organized. Yeah, I think that's important for people to learn.
I know we've started off on like the events that you've done, but like Felix said at the start, this gift right here, she does many things. Please,
Pandora's box over here
that
we're about to open.
I might just reach randomly and pull out something.
Might pull out something I don't even know.
I don't want to be like Felix who said Abasa studied music.
And Abasa was like, no, I didn't.
So like psychology and film and media production. I was not about to like say the wrong one and be like physiology. No, sorry, psychology. But like, so having done that side, can we say that that's what brings? That's what brings up the movie or the movie fanatic in you got into. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Like
which one is the chicken? Which one is the egg?
So
studying is the chicken.
You're getting into film. Yeah? Was it because of the studying? Or did you study because of
the interest?
I studied because of the interest. I think I knew I want to be a storyteller. Okay. And at the time, for me, film was the way I was like, that's how I can do it. Where I am now, I'll be honest, I've realized there's so many different ways I can be a storyteller, even my job with Jameson now. But at the time, it was, number one, I want to be a storyteller. Number two, I want to empower people who I think are silenced or their stories are not given space. So I think that's what inspired the whole film thing.
Inspirational person over here. So you started off, the first one was?
Film? Oh,
short.
It's even embarrassing because, you know, when you look at your old work and you're like, is that me? No. But the first film I made was at uni. It was an experimental, like, documentary short. It was called Erasure. And it basically profiled, like, 4 young, like, women or girls my age living in South Africa and their experiences of, like, racism and sexism and how, I guess, they feel erased in different spaces. At the time, it was a very important story for me to tell because of, I guess, the social-political culture in South Africa. It was a very big shock for me going from Uganda to a space where my identity was very, like, politicized and really mattered that I was, like, a black foreign girl. And I think to this day, that is a project I'm probably most proud of. I enjoyed making it a lot. At the time, I was really like, I really want to make, like, documentary kind of work. And the fact that it was experimental meant like we played around with how we told the story. And I enjoyed that a lot. And then the second film I made, which I'm just like,
you wrapped it up,
I don't want anyone to ever watch it. But it taught me a lot. It was called Wrapped Up. It was very interesting because I co-directed it with my first and only white friend, guys.
First and only.
Living in Cape Town as a black person who's also very, I guess, into social justice, I really did not get along with white people. But I made one white friend and we made a film together. But no, we made a film and it was very interesting because it was about 2 best friends in South Africa, like a black girl and a white girl. And what we did was the film was in 2 parts. So the first part was from the white girl's perspective and she wrote it and directed it. And the second part was the same story from the black girl's perspective, which I wrote and directed. And it was very interesting. I think we won like 2 awards for it, which I don't think either one of us was expecting. But
award-winning filmmaker, guys. Like don't just like you think we just bring anybody for? We're very focused humans, guys. And if you want us to bring more such amazing people, send some money to 624404. That's 62440.
I'm going to live with that number ringing in my head. I might be trying to pay at the supermarket and I type by mistake 624404. The money is gone.
She wins. Yes, it's okay.
It will go to
That's a good
cause.
mistake to make.
For sure.
But yeah, those are the 2 films I made. I made them both in uni. And then my most recent film project, which is the first thing I made like outside of uni, no financial support from like school or things like that. It's a film called I Eat What I Like.
What I like. I love that title because it makes sense. Somebody give me some spicy chicken. but like I eat what I like.
Yeah.
I love that. And I saw you mentioned the financial support thing, and I saw the crowdfunding.
Yeah, so I crowdfunded for that film. It's very interesting. I think I almost enjoyed the crowdfunding more than I enjoyed making the film.
This is
I won't
going
lie.
well.
Like, not even because it's going well. I think a big part of me is into just like marketing and putting stories out there and that kind of work. Like, it really brought out a side of me that I was like, oh, I'm kind of good at this thing. I can create some clout here. But it was also very inspiring to see people, and people told me, Ugandans won't give, you have to do the crowdfunding in other countries, and the majority of that money came from Ugandans.
Nice. Well done, Ugandans.
I really appreciated that. So I worked on I Eat What I Like. It's a story that came, so I studied film and I studied psychology.
Yeah.
My postgrad was in psychology, and my research was on, I did my thesis on Ugandan women's experiences of sexuality and sexual pleasure. And I interviewed like Ugandan women from the ages of 19 to about like, I think the oldest person was maybe 50, 55.
Yeah.
And my findings, I was just like, whoa, I have to do something with this. Yeah. And then randomly, I lived in Cape Town for school, and I used to live next to this store called Adult World. And Adult World basically sold like,
adult things.
And I decided to go check it out with my friend, and then I randomly was like, yo, imagine you come here and like you find your auntie at the cashier paying for something. And that sparked the inspiration for the story of I Eat What I Like.
Oh my goodness.
It definitely grew past that initial thought, but the story started with like, okay, what would happen if like, before it was called I Eat What I Like, it was called The Dealer, and it was about like a mom and a daughter buying sex toys from the same dealer. It changed a bit, but that's where it started. And I think for me it was important to tell a sex positive story. I think very often like women and sexuality are like either sweep it under the rug, or it's all the negative sides of it. Like, oh my god, teenage pregnancy. Oh my god, this disease. And I was like, okay, no. What are the positive sides to it? What's the weirdness between like older women and younger women and interacting about sex? Yeah, so I made I Eat What I Like. I still can't talk to my mom about sex, but I made the film.
So when does she watch it?
When it comes out, I'm hoping by you guys are probably the first to officially hear this. I'm hoping by 30th June I will be able to screen
You heard it first here, guys. You heard it first here.
Yeah.
I Eat What I Like, 30th June.
Hopefully.
Look out, hopefully, yes. Look out on your socials, and please, you must go and watch the movie. We must support creatives. So, yeah.
When I think of movies, especially created by Ugandan creatives, I get the things that excite me. Like I remember when I watched Lukman Ali's The Girl in the Yellow Jumper. I remember something that I was so excited about was, hearing that Kenneth Mugabe song, then hearing that Tucker HD, then so they're just those moments. And I would like, maybe I'll ask the professional. I'm just a fan who's just, but Mr. Felix over there.
Let's go. I was about to say, I've been quiet.
I'm learning.
I've been too quiet.
These again with Mutono. How do we?
No, I think we need to ask the movie maker here. And then I feel in the gaps.
We can both answer.
Let's start with you because
and then I feel in the gaps. How do you license? So in this case, I'm going to speak from from my experience. The few we've licensed. So where can I start from? So under Skyline Media, we do license content. We do license content to telecoms, to movie guys.
I think before you continue, for people who don't understand what you mean when you say licensed content, I think we need to kind of define that.
So licensing content pretty much means I give you a right to use the content.
Right.
According to the agreement that we have. So there are different formats of content. There's audio, there is video, all those kinds. And what we look at when you're licensing the content is how long are you going to use the content for, where are you going to use it, in terms of where are you going to place it, and then also the territories in which this content that you where you're going to use it is going to air. If it's a short film, where's the short film going to air? Is it YouTube? Are you taking it to Netflix? Things like that.
And people can get paid for this, correct?
Yes.
Meaning like the owners of the content.
Yes. So you content owners, pay attention.
So now, us, where we come in is, I come to, let's say, again, Damzi and Mutono. I'm like, hey, I like your song. I want rights. I want you to license it to me. Basically, I want you to give me the rights to
use it,
to take it, look for opportunities for this song.
Right.
So we sit down with you. If, let's say, you have a publishing guy, in this case, we have a conversation with them. And then also, when I'm taking the content, I tell you the kind of rights that we are going to exploit, because different formats of content have different formats of rights.
Okay.
From there, I tell you what I'm going to do with the song, and then we agree on revenue share. In this case, revenue share is if the content makes money, I take my cut.
You get your cut.
I remove my administration costs, and then also I give you administration costs. There's admin involved because there's legal, there is all those things.
And you're the one going and doing that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In this case, what we do, we give you an agreement, and we advise you to have your own legal to go through it.
Okay.
Because if I recommend my own legal is going to look out for me.
I love the honesty.
They agree if there's something you don't agree with, we agree with, we talk about it, we find a way of solving it. If once we get to that stage, you sign, and then we take on the content, and then we go look for opportunities for your content. And part of the agreement is we have to report to you whenever we make money.
Okay. Nice.
So in this case, one of the cases where we do regular reporting is with telcos, because telcos, let's say they use the music for CRBTs. These are callback tunes. When you call your madam, that song you hear. So we are supposed to report to you how the song has performed, how much you've made, how much can you take, how much can you not take, because there's also a threshold we look at. Because again, moving money from one country to another, there are costs involved. That's so you can't move little amounts of money. Right. But then also beyond that, our role is to look for sync opportunities, that is in movies, in TV shows, in TV ads. That even goes as far as us telling you, hey, if you switch this song here and here, I think we can pitch it.
We can sell it
because
better.
a song has like that space. If you added this one, it would become this, and we can tell Jamie that, hey.
To the people that have listened to this podcast from that guy, I think I gave an example where we did it with J Watts. I think in season 1, where I gave it, if you haven't, go back and listen. We need to increase the streams on that one. So then if the money comes in again, we do the whole revenue share according to what we've agreed. But then also for us, it's about educating, because we've realized there is a knowledge gap. We've realized that
I didn't know all of this.
A lot of artists don't know that there are different rights to a song that you own.
Interesting.
And the current climate of the music industry, God forgive me, when they talk about copyright, all people hear is radio to pay me, TV to pay me. Yet there's a lot
so
more.
Much more.
So even us, it's about teaching the people involved, because some artists that we've managed to work with, we tell them, come with your manager. We also talk to your manager, let the manager be in the know, because in future it may not, because also our agreements are for 3 years. In future you may want to work with someone else.
I'm already getting like ideas of like bringing Xpressions artists to you guys to just get this.
So take that information and knowledge, work with another person. One of the, I think the films that we've had success with is they're called Bad Jama Films, something like that.
Bad Mama Jama.
Yes, I'm sorry I've messed it up. Thank God. I'm sorry I've messed it up. But they identified songs of someone whose content we're in charge of. They liked the songs. They reached out. In this case, they reached out through their legal. We had a conversation with their legal. The legal told us the budget they were working with. We told them, our artist, this kind of artist. Where you are taking the film also matters. The part of the song you want, all those things. I have to pay the producer to rework some of these things. And luckily enough, we found common ground. I can't say which artist or which movie because I don't know if the movie is out yet.
It's okay. You don't need to.
Because I don't know if the movie is out yet. And luckily enough, the money reflected on that account.
You have received.
And we all celebrated because they take their cut, we have their cut. But also the other thing we try to look at is a lot of us creatives, we don't work with unlimited budgets.
Yeah.
But then also we want value addition in what
Wait, you all have a budget?
Because ideally I don't want to watch I eat what I like and then I'm hearing a South African song, but the movie is by a Ugandan person. I'm like, at least there should be, because that was also part of our motivation to be like, if I watch something by Ugandan, at least let's have some Ugandan placements in there. So also the other thing we try to do is that try to have a dialogue with everyone, the movie creators, the artists, and you're like, hey, look, it may not generate a lot of revenue right now, but let's find a common ground where at least we can have
everybody
your song
wins, you know, everybody wins.
With this digital, you don't know where the movie lands. The movie might land somewhere and someone likes the song and then it's like, hey, what can we do?
One of the reasons I asked that was for him to do that and talk all his words that he wasn't talking. But also because we've talked about this even before with regard to streaming, with regard to so many things. There's so many things where there's a gap in the knowledge, both from the consumer's perspective and the actual creative that is put in the stuff. So we realized that, man, you start explaining to someone why they should subscribe to Gundi, and then the other one does it, but then you realize that everyone gets to benefit from some of these things, and it's a good thing that we have the professionals.
Guys, there's enough money in the world for all of us to have also, some of it.
Like, on the same note, like, I feel like for the creative economy in Uganda to grow, both the consumer and the creator have to be involved. Like, both have to care and see the value and understand that, for it to grow, this is how I can be involved. Like, we can't be passive consumers of the thing, I feel like.
And if you don't want to be a passive consumer, just send some to 624404. That's 624404.
But
sorry, it was like right there.
Just and then to add to that, I think that's actually the purpose of this platform, right? I feel like just for people out there listening, watching, you need to know that this is not just for the artist. Even you as a consumer, it's important that you have this information, because then you have a better appreciation of content creators, of artists, and like, you know how to support your own, which I think is extremely important.
And one of the things also in the industry, quick switch up, but related. Music. Guys do a lot of music, and many times they're not able to do videos, or sometimes there are fewer videos, especially in some of the new and younger artists, which is obviously understandable because of budget constraints and things like that. Which I assume is part of, because we mentioned Xpressions from the events perspective, but you do those
the YouTube live videos
as well. And from our end, the Tribe UG press play videos, where we do the videos for the artists. So that parallel for me was very important in my thinking that, yes, we need Shari. Because like, I realized she gets it. she gets it. But like, do you feel like it's important for artists to have videos? Or do you think, hey, if the song goes, it will go?
I think it's very important. Okay, let me say this. I think that if you're not able to shoot visuals for whatever reason, it doesn't mean give up and the song cannot move. The song can move. But I do still think that visuals are important, because I think, first of all, there's different kinds of consumers. There's a lot of people who the platforms they use are maybe platforms that share more visual content. So that's how you're reaching that audience.
Right.
For example, and then also with Xpression, something we do is like the tracks, the visuals that we create, they record a rendition of that track. So for me, it's very interesting to see, like, let me use Joshua Baraka and Nana as an example. There might be someone who, now the acoustic version is out, they enjoy that more because that's their taste in music. So now everyone has something to enjoy. That's some of the reasons that I think they are important. However, I don't want to make it seem like visuals are the be all and end all of you being able to push your work and make it as an artist. But I do think they do have a part to play. Visuals also are just a way for you to collaborate with so many different other kinds of creatives. And I'm a big believer in networking. You know, when you do a visual, that's where you can have brand placement. Now you officially have a relationship with this brand. Maybe it can go further. There's so many people you can bring on board to be in your video. There's dancers who need platforms. There's actresses who need platforms. There's videographers, directors of photography. There's so many people that you are creating space for in the creative world to work on you with this project. And I think it's also just fun. Man, you've made a song, bring it to life in the world with your eyes. That's also just fun.
That brings me back to what Abasa said on his episode. It's like, find people that you can give value to and they give value to you. So sometimes it might not be a money thing. And it's like, you know this guy who's a videographer and like maybe your song is on the audio is, you know, doing the damn thing, right? So now I go to Bruce, I'm like, you know what?
Bruce
Let's do a video because then I'm gonna shout you out. I'm gonna shout you out and I'm gonna make sure everyone knows it is you that I worked with. So I'm giving you a platform, you're giving me value. The dancers come dance in my video because then people will see you, but you're also making my video lit. You get what I mean?
And also TikTok is so big right now. And TikTok is about visuals. Like your song will move mountains on TikTok because of the dance you've done or created, or because of things that people think they can recreate because of visuals that you have made.
I mean, but I'll also tell you from a marketing perspective, YouTube is one of the most visited sites ever in this country. Like, we keep assuming, centers are data. No, you're alone. You're alone.
Those are your struggles.
Those are your struggles because people consume videos on YouTube a lot. So even if you don't have, say, a video, like do a motion, you know, pictures.
Like a visualizer.
You get like a visualizer of some sort. So that on that platform, you have a presence and people are able to consume, you know,
your content.
Yeah.
Yes, I like that because we should do some good videos soon.
Like, why are you biting your?
On that note, I think I should ask. When are we getting the video for again? As a marketeer, as a songwriter, who wrote?
It is a work in progress, I think. So
my marketing manager, Damzi.
Watch the space. Watch the space. Watch the space.
Because it's like it reminds me, and what sometimes people also need to know, and that's why that can visualize that can something is sometimes people need to put a face to that name that they've heard.
That's true.
I'll remember. I think Damzi, we were there for that one. Mike Ihura last year. After before we get into the mic
already.
So after the band, Cohen walks out. Now Cohen has this star aura. Like there's just something about Cohen that's
Can
just.
You stop it?
Yeah, she's still going. I've gone from us to us, but like
taking her speed.
But like Cohen walks out, and of course us we are ready. We it's Cohen, it's us.
Yeah.
We definitely aligned. The people we're with, the two friends we're with, like who's that?
Who's that?
The moment he starts saying, "Oh," so they know the songs,
but
and that's the thing. Like the whole day, people sang every song from Cohen that day.
Yeah.
Every song, choir. But in the walkout or the whatever, him getting up to the mic, and there's that who. Then songs start. Oh, and that for me this is one of the most talented and biggest young artists we have, and so. I mean, if it's already with him, so imagine how many others along the way whose songs may not have the same traction that his do. So you're like, wow, like people need to know some of, because man, we have some good people out there doing some good things. So guys, like, I mean, explore.
You know, someone I discovered from the Expressions videos is tie-dye.
Hey,
I did not know that, and like I saw a video and I was like, why don't enough people know this person? You know what I mean? Like, cause I found her extremely talented and just like she doesn't struggle in her like she's just like
so effortless,
yes.
Just say like
and if you don't know who tie-dye is, I think please go look for her, look for the Expressions videos, and
she recently appeared on 2 songs on Baru's album. So I mean that's easy money, like because I think it's the second song and the second last.
Never enough, and what's the other one? I don't know. The other one.
But like, but like she's cool.
Yeah,
people. For me, someone I did discover on the Xpressions platform as well was Conrad. Sorry.
No, you discovered Conrad from Xpressions.
Yeah.
That's an honor.
One of the old, one of the first ones.
He was our first. Him and Akini were
with the three songs on repeat.
Those are
the three songs on repeat. Yeah. So by the time his EP came out, end of 2021, I was like, okay, cool. And of course, it starts with Reva, and guys are like, of course, people play that a lot, kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
But for me, and I always say, I really hope people are not just listening to track one and stopping there, because there's some good music on that project. Like, the song with Cohen is fire. Ready is ready. Like Ginger, I mean, let's go for a road trip.
Yeah.
Like the project.
Let's go there 2.0. 2.0
is my shiznit. It is my jam.
Guys, I hope you're taking notes.
And in all that, there's Hallowed Be Thy Name, HBTN, produced by Mutono, because we have to. Shut ups. But the whole thing is really dope. And for me, it's just really dope when good Ugandan artists do good things. Easy things to be happy about. Actually, before I even allow us to change, since I've said some music, what's on your playlist lately?
Do you know, like, I was in the car and I was like, this question is going to come and I'm going to go blank, and I've gone blank. That question.
Okay, maybe not on your playlist, but
you should have left the car and you got on a board and you see if you also go blank.
Rich quickly with the idea. Don't leave it in traffic.
Damn, guys. Damn. Who am I listening to right now? Guys, I don't know. Like,
or who do you think people should be listening to? I don't know if that makes it easier.
Ugandan?
Yes, that you feel maybe a lot of people are not yet put on to, but should be.
All right. I don't know. I think this is coming to me because his song played while I was driving here. Prince.
Oh, yeah.
I think Prince is very underrated.
Oh, my God.
And Prince. I think we need a lot more. I'm excited for a lot more music from him. But the one that's available, please, guys, dive into it.
We had a whole session at office the other day.
Because
just playing every jam.
Prince, like, he's killing the game in filmmaking right now, but I'm like, first go to studio.
Because the music is heavenly.
Go to studio.
Because that's my jam, by the way. Heavenly.
That's a good jam. So I think Prince is amazing.
Oh, and Crabs.
I think I'm really enjoying Shwento, especially because a lot of them are starting to make like individual, like they're doing their thing as individuals, and we're seeing who they are as people. Shwento has a thing about them. It makes me nostalgic, but it makes me feel like I'm home. I don't know.
Oh, that's a very good feeling.
There's something about
I've always found that they have a hippie vibe.
Yeah?
A hippie vibe, but not this hippie of...
as if urban hippie.
Like as if a hippie of here. If there was a Ugandan hippie.
Yes.
Urban hippie.
Yeah.
Like, the hippie you're not scared of being around.
No, but I'll never forget listening to Shwento for the first time. Like, yo.
I think everyone knows this person, but Big Dennisy. That guy. I can't be in the car and I hear his buzz and I'm like, what? We get this for free? He's so smooth with it. Like, he's, Dennis is good. Definitely a big shout out to that Malcolm guy. I'm a little bit biased.
A little?
But like,
really?
I like to experience
biased.
like diversity in music. And I think he's someone doing a very different, unique sound.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way that we will grow, is like, we need people to represent all the different options of what you can make, so that people at home are like, I feel represented. That means I can do my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that those are the... Can I shout out a woman? I haven't shouted out a woman. And
Please
I'm like, that's
go
very
ahead.
important. Man, Akine. Right now, Akine, she hasn't dropped maybe like an EP or whatever in a while, but Akine is on so many features these days, and she kills every hook that she's on.
Every single time.
She kills every hook on every feature. You can put Akine on any track.
Anything.
And she'll still sound like Akine, but still be the vibe of the song.
Yeah.
So shout
That's
out
so
to her.
true.
Yeah.
It's so funny. We say that because we talk about Akine a lot. Like, you're talking about this project. Well, Akine is there.
Akine's on it.
You talk about this one, she's there. And like, it's how well she does that. Like, even what you're saying, you can put her in anything. Because if you look at like the song on Baru's album is like the second verse is a French dude. Like I'm sure, but she's listen. Like she just knows how to sit in the jam and apply it. Also, something I think is often missed because of the good hooks on all these collaborations. For me, it's her writing in her verses. I'm just always like impressed by how well she writes her verses.
What do you pay attention to that you're like, this person can write? What is it?
It's very different. Sometimes it's like it varies from one song to another. Sometimes it may be wordplay, it may be rhyme schemes that are interesting. Like sometimes it's even something simple that anyone could do, but
the way it has been done.
Like if you look at the song with Cohen, Saving My Love. Her verse there where she's playing with the overdrive, override, overnight, with the end of every whatever, and it's like it's making sense. It's matching the theme of the song. It's so well crafted. Same with her song with Joshua on her EP. That verse, like, there's just like she's getting something meaningful and it's not forced. Sometimes there's where people may force a rhyme scheme and be like, baby, crazy, the default one. You know, the default baby, crazy, lady.
Leave us. That's the English we know. Stop it.
but like she'll get those smart interesting.
I feel like you're attacking Red Banton, but it's okay.
Come
Security tight.
Oh, guys, I have one more person. Yeah. You guys, this album saved my life.
Saving
Isabel's Love and Light. Hey, Isabel's Love and Light is like
love and light.
Yeah, it has kept me alive. It has kept me alive. And I know that Isabel's sound is not the usual of Chidongo, of partying, of what. Someone told me they feel like she sounds like a Disney princess. And I love that. But Isabel's writing, and she writes from inside. Yeah, I think Isabel's a creative genius.
Guys, I hope you're taking notes. If not, we shall drop the list.
My jam, I have my song on that album, April. Oh my God, what a song.
That's on Love and Light. Well, I was about to say Evergreen.
Evergreen, yeah. But anyway, all in all, you listen and find out for yourself. You tell us your favorite. Damzi, what's on your... Hey, give me that kawan.
Guys, I've had a very hectic week. Let me tell you something.
So what got you through it?
Let me tell you, just sleep is what got me through it.
I was going to say chance now, but it's okay.
But like I said, I think people should check out tie-dye. I'm going to stand by that because like for me, I was just blown away when I found her sound. So that's the one person I'm going to say, go and look for her stuff. Go and listen to her. Tie-dye, please do more. Do more. Like I'm here. I'm ready.
I feel like there's a combination when the world hears it. When Kampala hears what Chef Barry and tie-dye can do together, it's over.
So
it's over.
Tie-dye for sure, 100%. Felix.
Hey, that's all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Life has been
I was thinking of what I was going to say as you say, because the entire week I was. I know, but given the conversations we've been having this week at office with Mark and Hassan, I've been listening to Wake. You guys know why we have been having this conversation.
Of course I know.
Guess who we're featuring on the next Expression?
Mwanika.
Can we just be there?
Hassan is going. Hassan, I think will help you carry the speakers.
Can I hold the lights? Let me tell you.
Because we are Wake people.
We are Wake.
We are woke.
We are woke.
We are Wake people. We've worked with him before, and we continue to work with him. Yeah. And he has never disappointed us.
He's amazing.
Mark put out a petition for people to sign for Kenneth Mugabe to do a concert.
100%.
So also that motivated me to listen to some Kenneth this week before I signed the petition.
Like, let me be sure.
I just want to reconfirm.
What are the terms and conditions?
Yeah. And also the homie, because again, you guys know the conversation, but the homie was somewhere where it's not supposed to be. So I was like, let me listen. Because who Wake, it's an album, Kenneth Mugabe, it's a couple of albums. So it has occupied me.
Okay. That's a good choice.
Myself, I will say something that I discovered on Ambassador Brown's timeline. It's a new video for Agum Say It.
You guys, Agum. She'll change your life. No, actually, she'll change your life, guys. Me, why didn't I say her myself?
I said, you know what? I'm so happy that she didn't say it. Because I was there, like, I went and said, one of the best videos I've watched this year. I was like, please don't
That's
say it.
my
Please don't
answer.
say it. Please don't say it. Because I remember once I saw your tweet. I'm like, let me first proofread. You know what I mean? I watched that video. I'm like, aha.
Send it to me.
I love it.
Like, send to the group.
I love
I was
it.
like, hey.
And he's
Yeah.
like, read the credits. Who's the producer? I'm like, oh, Sharii.
We are focused individuals,
Yeah,
by the way. We make a
We do our
research.
research.
We
I love
make a
it.
research. Because kindly by force, sometimes you have to do these things.
Yeah, Gum is special, man.
Is there a date to that work expressions thing?
First Sunday of July.
Yeah, because our producer lost his mind, so I'm ready to make sure he says
First
the
Sunday
time.
of July, my
We
guy.
did not record that weekend because
Okay.
no, listen, we've done. I mean, that day it was hectic but fun. We did 2-week videos and we did them
In one
back
day?
to back.
Yeah.
One day, one evening.
One evening.
Whoa.
We held nights, we exchanged whatever. Okay, you take over this one, let me go.
We even developed concepts on set
While
as
you were
time
there.
was going.
Like, okay, on the way, let me first pick some things here. Like, where we just did but it's because
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wake does the damn thing. Another thing that our producer was happy about, and I'll just say it again because people need to check out these people. So I have one more, which is Afri. I saw the thread on the Xpressions page, and there's all these like things about Afri that people may not know.
Yeah.
But also her music is just,
Yeah.
it's a problem.
Yeah.
And the other day I saw her do a live rendition of her song Balongo, and oh my
Was it
god,
crazy good?
Oh, what in the vocal was going on? I was like, oh my
need to check
god,
that
we
out.
weren't ready. So I'll send you the link.
Hey, you had the question?
No, yes, for her.
Hey, okay.
There's a certain secret that I want to
Okay.
reveal to the people that may not know, like how me I need to know. Did y'all know?
Oh, I know what's coming. Jesus be a pillar.
Ambassador Brown was part of a girl band, not just Spice Girls, but they were also spicy. With someone that we might all know, which is Kamanzi. So tell us more. What is the name of the group? This is for you guys.
This is so hilarious. So first of all, we were in a Christian school, so Christian girls. Our band was called Intensity, but it was spelled IN10 and then like city with a C, because we're from 10 City. Heaven is the city of tents.
Okay.
But the funniest thing is when we first started the band, we were called Juvenile.
Juvenile.
Wow.
And our parents
What
were
a
like,
switch.
you can't be representing Jesus and you're calling
And you're
yourself juveniles? Please, are you in a prison? What's going on?
Juvenile delinquents, please.
So we came up with the Intensity. And to be honest, before we were a girl band, there were a few guys in it. One of them was actually, Isabel UG. She has a younger brother called Isaac. He was part of the band.
Oh.
We were a big group. And then eventually life happened and we were just...
I thought people
5
chose to go
girls.
Beyonce.
They went to 10 cities. Sorry.
Wait, and you all know the Beyonce of the group, Kamanzi. You've seen where she has reached.
Bales
man.
decided to go and do the damn thing.
We did our thing. We used to obviously sing at like school a lot. We used to sing at a lot of churches or like youth events and things like that. I remember there's a time where we were like, okay, it's time for a concert. And we want our concert to be big. It's going to be at Serena.
Okay.
So we went to our parents with a budget and they just looked at us like, you guys, maybe start the concert here in the garden.
First thing for the plants.
And we were so annoyed because we're like, you don't believe in us? Do you know the things we can do at Serena?
Wow.
But you guys asked me like what was my creative start, and that was a big part of it. I honestly I think my favorite thing in the world to do is sing, and like that was probably a big part of it. And even now that I work with music more from behind the scenes, I think a lot of my knowledge comes from having experienced
Right.
being the person singing and understanding sound and instruments and pitch and harmonies and all that kind of thing. I think that led me to where I am now a lot.
So, if I may ask, why are you not singing anymore? Or are you singing and not telling us?
I mean,
You
in
may-
the shower,
you-
yeah.
No, no,
may
no,
fi-
that's
you
my
may find
territory.
Is
That's
there-
my territory. Please.
You
Is
may
there something
find
we should be preparing for.
You may find some backup harmonies on that Malcolm's guy's songs.
She's
Like, hey, read there, hey.
do not kill me right now. I wish that was the case. I cannot promise anything right now. I think that I have a therapist, and like the other day she was like, man, the way you talk, I think that you want to sing and you're hiding behind supporting singers. And I was like, bro, I brought you here to help me.
That's deep, though.
Not to scar me and shoot shoots. Please.
Organize
It's me
yourself,
who
sir.
asked you to come here. Like, yeah, so I won't lie. I think I have, I respect music so much that I have a big fear of not doing it
Well,
right
or
or
right,
well
yeah.
enough in my eyes.
I get that.
And I'm still struggling with that.
You know,
and
I'm
I
also
don't
like
know.
that when thank God Ian is not here. Because I knew he would have a rebuttal. But I'm also like that when it comes to certain artists when they bring songs to me and they're like, we need your help in this regard on this song. And I'm like, yo, I feel like that song is so huge that if I contribute to it, I might mess up. But I get what you're saying.
That's
but then
imposter
also,
syndrome. Stop it.
you've mentioned therapy, and I remember back a few weeks ago, I interviewed Doug Mizo and was saying how music helped him to get out of depression.
Wow.
So these things, depression,
Anxiety.
there are things that are within this creative industry. But I wanted you to shed more light about how
Music
creatives can tap into therapy, and then also the other thing is where to find these therapists. Because guys have no clue where to start
Yeah.
from.
And then, of course, you know
A
how
very,
it is. Stigma vibes. And
Yeah. A very interesting thing is, so I'm very open about this. I have bipolar 2. And something I notice about my patterns to kind of notice, when am I going through a depressive episode? When am I okay? When I'm going through a depressive episode, the first thing that will change is I stop singing. Because I'm someone who I sing around I'm writing, I'm singing. I'm
Yeah, we
walking,
heard
I'm
you
singing.
earlier when you were
I'm in the
sitting there.
camps, I'm drinking, I'm singing. I just stop singing. So I get you, like, music is a very
Powerful thing.
Powerful
Yeah,
thing.
It's a very powerful
It's a very powerful thing. Yo, for anyone who watches this, guys, please, I'm available on all socials. You're looking for a therapist, you're looking for an affordable therapist, hit me up. I will send a list.
Okay.
Yeah, not just a contact. A
list,
list.
guys.
I will genuinely send a list for people for you to try out.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. So you talked about having a wake on the next Xpressions.
Yeah.
And my question for you is the artists you chose to be part of this platform. What do you look at? Because I'm sure there are guys who are watching this
And maybe they want
and
to
they
be
want
on
to
it,
be on this
yeah.
platform.
All right.
Or even on your platforms, because there is Jameson. there is
Yeah. Okay, honestly, first of all, for Xpressions and Jameson, it's different.
Yeah.
Those are two
Yeah.
different kinds of
Yeah.
events. With Xpressions, I think a big reason we started it was we're creating a platform for people to discover something new.
Right.
So at every show, I think our goal, first of all, is who is someone that's on the come up or someone that's so good, but not enough people are hearing them or seeing them. That's our first thing. I think that's important for me. I also like to, I know we're not the biggest show or anything, but sometimes when I see an artist who I'm like, yo, you've grown, you're doing something, for me, I'm like, asking you to be on Xpressions is me giving you your flowers. So I think a lot of times, when you see an artist and you're like, man, this song is on the charts, or like you are here and now you're here. I love to have artists like that. I think I love to have a good mix. Okay, I'm not going to put like a rapper and a super neo soul person in one show, but I like to have diversity. I don't want you to feel like you've listened to the same thing the whole show. That's very important. And I always tell people sometimes it's just a feeling. Like there's times people have asked me, like, I want to be on Xpressions, and my heart just knows not now.
Not
And
yet.
then 2 months later, I'm like, you're the one.
Now is the
You
time.
gotta be on this show. So I think there's many different factors. To be honest, it is also a business. I cannot lie. There are shows where I'm like, you know what? If I bring
we bring the
Cohen right
crowd.
now, he's
Yeah.
so hot.
Yeah.
Guys are gonna come. You
Yeah.
know, if I bring Joshua, if I bring Banji right now, like there's also those factors, because it is to sustain it,
We need to
Yeah.
lead
Need
a
a
crowd.
crowd.
Yeah.
to continue having these sponsors, they
Gotta
need to see
make the
value in what we're doing. So
Yeah.
I won't lie, there's also that.
So I guess for me, the thing I pick from that is like artists out there, put in the work, because there's people noticing,
Yeah.
you know? Put in the work, like make sure your music is out there, because there are people who are looking to find you and give
Yeah.
you platforms. So yeah, do the damn
I
thing.
think additionally also there's people who, like, let's say you hit us up on the Xpressions DM. There's someone who hits us up or even looks for our email and says, I would like to be on your platform. this is my media kit, this is my bio, these are my songs, this is where I want to be on. Then there's someone who DMs and says, I want to work with you, full stop. Who am I going to pay attention to? You might even be better, but all you've said is, I want to work with you, full stop.
That's the professionalism that we're talking about.
Who am I going to pay attention to in that situation?
Those are the small things. And I want to actually no, that one, since you've just said it, that's one of the things that we always talk about, that those small things. And that's the same thing Abasa was saying. That's something we've said over and over. That's something we said in season 1 with Ninja C. It's just one of those things we feel the need to reiterate every single time because people take it for granted. And I'll always I remember one of the first times I talked to you, I think she was like, are you the one who told Mutono that you're a service provider? And I'm like, yes, I am. That sounds like my handwriting. But what I mean is like, it's one of those things where I'm like, listen, if there are many restaurants or whatever, if I have good service here, if I have this quality there, that is the reason I'm going to go there.
Yeah.
Even if you're all, so if the genre is hip hop, so even if you're all Indian restaurants and I like Indian food, there's still a reason I'm going to go to this one over the other one. And that's just something that comes from you, the artist. So you have to remember that it's a job.
It is.
It's a job. The way an engineer has a job, an accountant has a job, it's a job.
It's your job.
You might in your head you're like, you know what, I'm the shit. You are, but it's a job. Like your being the shitness is not what's going to happen.
But also the foundation is you're making good music. People tend to forget that good music is the foundation.
Man, can I ask you guys?
Because we can't have a conversation about terrible
ask
music.
you guys a question, yeah?
Yeah.
Like now imagine, I don't know, like now imagine you're running Expressions, right? And someone hits you up and they are dying to, like, and they are professional. But you listen to the music and you're like, how do you communicate that it's not yet there, or this is not what this is not it?
This is where we have issues.
Well, not on that magnitude or on that scale, but when you see the tribe started as a blog, curating content, documenting content, and we're like, yeah, guys, send us your music, we shall write a review. Need be, we can even interview you. And sometimes you open your Facebook and they are bashing you like, hey man, I send music, you guys
You've not
done anything. The same way you said, bio, what, yada. We're like, guys, look, when you send music, attach artwork, attach a synopsis of the song.
Yeah.
If you can, attach lyrics for us to better understand, attach the credits of who the producer is. But then a guy just sends an attachment and then the subject is just so-and-so featuring so-and-so, and you're like, where do I start from? No contact for us to follow on, because sometimes we may want to call you because to make it quicker, because emails sometimes guys don't respond. Fast forward, we are doing awards, the hip hop awards, same thing. I submitted my song and you listen to the song.
There were those who didn't submit. I remember that he had one of those issues early on where there's a call for people to submit there, whereby after that the judges will whatever and do the final list of nominees for each category. But now someone who didn't submit
is annoyed.
Where you'll go through everything.
He's annoyed. They have written like a whole post bashing you. But for me,
so is it that they wanted you to be to know that their song is so good that you should have taken
but for
it by
me,
yourself?
I've always told people, look, we have to have room for dialogue.
Yes.
If you remove the room for dialogue, then we're not going to talk to each other, we're not going to hear each other. So before you bash me or before you say ABCD, let's have a dialogue.
Let's talk.
But also, like, come through with humility.
Yes.
You get, like,
and the beauty about it is that we are at these events. It's a matter of like, hey, can I talk to you for 5 minutes? And hey, I sent you a song, blah, blah, blah. And if I listen to the song, I'll tell you like, yo, bro, the song didn't work out. Like this.
We actually legit had to do this on the pod last time because I remember after we did episode 1 of season 2, we had reviewed a couple of albums that had been released between season 1 and season 2, like during our off season. So like, episode 1, it's it's a good way to come back. People have done a lot. Let's shed light on the stuff that was done when we were away. Let's talk about that. So we talk about a couple of projects. We listened to, let's say like 20, but we talked about like
out of those
14
20
or 15, right? So some of the, like, there's a lot of struggle because we have to go through the whole thing. Whenever we just play the first song and be like, I don't like that one, so I can't.
Everything.
So imagine we have to go through everything for all these many albums, right? Then I remember someone commenting that, hey, I also released What About Me? I was there. But you see, we've listened to this person before, but those are the type of like comments that we sometimes get. And I remember telling him now in the next episode, because now, okay, let's address it. I'm like, you
Let's
see,
talk.
I could have come here and said maybe this was a bit. This was a
And
bit
be like us and who said
yeah,
this,
I could say us.
these people sing like they hate
They
music.
hate music. they're like sometimes.
Wow.
No, but
Whoa!
but like there's times where you listen to stuff and like no, not yet. Or there's someone who, and those are the things that we'll always point out if we get the opportunity. There's somewhere, man, the actual music is mere, but when they are on stage, they're so dope.
Yeah.
So like we try to get all those aspects, and when we are talking about something that matches what you do, then
We'll
bring
talk.
it-
We'll bring it
But
up.
always people will think that there's going to be some sort of everyday something like no. Today is about Shari Brown, yo.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I would add there is I think people need to be open to criticism.
Yeah.
I think one thing I realize is a lot of creators don't like to be criticized, right? And it's a human thing. No one wants to hear that, you're not very smart today or something. But like, as an artist, especially if you're trying to grow your business, and because the consumer is the person that you are making music for, I think you need to be able to listen to criticism. You
Especially
might
when
not
it's
take
well-
everything that is being said,
Yeah.
but have the courtesy to listen to it and sieve out what makes sense for you, because I don't think it comes to tell you you're bad, stop it, go back to your 9 to 5. Like, it's normally meant to help you actually be a better creative. So
But Bambi, there are some of you go back to your 9 to 5.
I didn't want to say it, but okay.
Yeah, you see this?
The people here and told to go back to spreadsheets.
Spreadsheet. Man, yeah, that was a problem from season 1. Like in the beginning,
back to
first episode.
spreadsheets.
Yeah, and now he's on spreadsheets. Like, yeah, it's our first
Yeah,
episode
but
ever.
and also if you reach out to people and like, first of all, this is a platform. You're reaching out, you want to be featured. Like, have some level of respect and humility. I don't owe you anything. Like, you can't come
Yeah,
and say,
man.
I'm all, Shari needs to have me on it. Why?
Another thing
What do you
also
mean?
that I feel like people need to understand, people like Xpressions, people like the Tribe UG, right? You see us sitting here. We have jobs, like we have to make money, so we work. But we put as much effort as we do into these things.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So imagine, I'm
That's
trying
true.
to work, but I'm also trying to make sure this thing happens every month. These guys are trying to sit here every Saturday to make a podcast. So for you to be coming at them and being like, why haven't you featured me? Why haven't you called me on my podcast? Guys, show people grace.
Yeah.
Because they're also like genuinely putting their hearts into something.
That's even a nice one of why haven't you got to be here. There's during our break between season 2 and season 3. I was told, why are you people on break?
Hey! I beg, you can't rest.
It means you don't care about it enough. I'm like,
What?
because they had just released an album. I'm like, listen, you've released an album. Okay, release another one now. Release another one
I don't know
now.
if you
Are
guys know
mad?
if you guys know the Kenyan artist from Out from Nowhere.
Yeah.
He recently released a 15-track album, and like last week someone like tweeted him saying, I need new music, and he was like, this is wild. I just gave you a 15-track album 2 months ago, and you're just commanding me to release new music. Like,
Man,
Yeah.
you told me why are you on break.
Guys, be respectful.
As in, imagine walking up to a human
You,
being who
if it's
doesn't know
bothering you, start your podcast.
you are the one saying you come and record. Come and
You
record.
start your podcast.
But I was going to play devil's advocate, but that's Ian's role.
Please.
But
That's
by
it.
all
He's a
means,
devil
by all
in
means,
the
Do it.
by all means.
How can I explain it? You see, in this creative journey, the creative journeys that we are on,
Yeah.
you reach a point and you are like, how? I'm trying to articulate it properly so that I don't mess up and so that Shari can come back on the podcast.
That's
Shari's
why.
putting you on- yeah, don't
Hey.
My gun is here. I'm
Yeah.
ready.
But it is like to be on their side, it's like saying try to kutumie, you're like, did we send you to start your podcast? You understand? Like, but since we didn't send you and since you chose to do it, do it. So sometimes I try to see it from that
Okay.
perspective.
But it's
Of
like,
course,
the
it's
thing is, I
it's
can
a
play
toxic
it
perspective.
I can play it exactly the same way. Exactly. Te want to, ma.
Hey.
So don't tell me what
Of
to
course,
do.
it is. Of course, it is a toxic perspective. But for me,
But
it
you're
is.
saying that's what you think their
But
perspective
yeah,
is.
but for me, it's like you are playing this role, and for me, it goes back to the tribe. Like when we did the
Said
tribe.
that, man, that's the role we chose. When people are abusing
Man.
Yeah, I'm like.
That's why you are leader, by the way.
Actually, Mark articulates it properly. Like I say it a lot, but it had skipped my mind. Like that's the role we chose to play in this industry. The fact that you chose to play that
To
role,
him who much is given, much is
Yeah, much
you
is
stand.
expected.
That's true.
So that's why for the tribe, when we had the blog and then we had the awards, I was like, no, what, guys, let's split out and we have different properties. In that But if in case we get tired of this, we can do this. In case we need a break from the podcast, we still have our website you can write on. In case you don't want to write, we have a press play. We can shoot content or video content.
If you're looking for the business,
there's always something coming out.
Like it was a way of how can we refresh also, because this creative journey also sometimes you get burnt out, like, because you're doing the same thing. But once you diversify, so for example, if you're doing expressions, you can be like, I feel like a short film. And then you go do a short film.
Sing into the plants. Like whatever goes. Like whatever goes.
I deserve a triple disc. So that's the creative journey we are on, and that's a role we chose to play. So let's continue playing it. Maybe in future, when they are giving away these 30 billions, they can be like, okay, expressions. No, but
my thing is, and all that aside, understand each other's side and all that is well and good. But like you said earlier, and like everyone here says, or anyone normal out there in whatever walk of life, it's about how you say something. Like it's how you communicate. It's how you bring it up. If you come through, no matter how right you are, by the way, if you come through and you say,
respect,
you threatened us earlier with some questions.
Yes.
I'm worried, so I'm like, let's get it. I don't know.
Don't be worried.
I didn't even forget it now. I'm like on tension.
I like for us to get like to end on a light and lively note.
Okay.
Yeah, she said light, then asked things.
Yeah. I'm going to ask some somewhat pointless existential questions. Just for the sake of our entertainment, but also to get to know our guests and ourselves better.
Okay.
So, I'll start easy. Would you rather lose the ability to read or lose the ability to speak?
By reading.
Mark, don't answer. We know you like to talk. Anyway, I'm sorry. Give us your answer.
You know what? You know what? I would lose the ability to read because then I can listen to audiobooks.
I was going to say I can lose the ability to read because guess what? There are a lot of illiterates out there who are successful.
You're not wrong. Mark, give us your obvious answer.
I mean, my mom's clan is called the Balomi.
What does
the
that
But no. I'm talking.
Yeah, of course you're talking.
Of
course, you know his answer. He doesn't have to say it.
Yeah, I feel like that.
I've demonstrated.
I'm not sure. I feel like I would rather talk. To be honest, I would rather talk.
You are right. That's
why I like to express myself. Imagine someone annoys you and you can't assure this.
Imagine you're annoyed but you're writing.
No.
How dare you?
Not the same effect.
Exclamation mark.
Well, you write it and read it for them since you have the ability to read.
Oh my god.
Okay, so question 2. What's the dumbest way that you've been injured?
Mark. Okay, I didn't get injured. But Mark.
Your fish.
My fish story.
What happened? Please tell us.
No, I can't tell that story.
No. You started it.
Not on the podcast. Not on the podcast.
You have to tell us about the fish.
Not on the podcast.
You've said it.
You can alter it a bit, but you're not living without a story.
You have to tell the fish story. Otherwise, I'll tell it.
I don't really want Mark to be telling a story for you.
Okay. So we get invited to Bayimba to facilitate a class about hip hop.
Okay.
Hip hop stuff. But they had shifted now the Lunkulu Island. So we're like, perfect. We are coming back with fresh fish, like from the island. So we go, we do the facilitation, we get done. They call a guy, he was in the middle of the lake. Like, they make hand signals, the guy brings the fish. Of course, Ash, man, you take the biggest fish. But like, I'm going home, I'm going to cook, what, because I cook for myself. So I get home, I'm like, you know what? I'm super excited.
I'm so excited.
I'm like, so to make this quick and easy, I'm going to buy already made fries. Instead of me making the fries, already made fries.
Less work.
Because I want to eat my fish.
Because I want to do fries, deep fried fish and all that.
What happened?
So I buy the fries. I get the lemons. You know, you have to squeeze on the lemon. Basically, I set up my kitchen. I make slices in the fish.
In the fish,
and salt, what. So my less professional chef in me, I left the fish wet. It was soaked. So I put the oil on the stove. It heats up. Like it super heats up. I'm like, you know what? It has heated up.
Just
it's even
dump.
It's
perfect.
time.
You know, it's perfect. Yeah. So I get this fish. I dump it in the pan. First of all, fire.
Yo,
Flambe.
The type who cooks without a shirt on.
As I look at the fire, I'm like, you know the stories that someone burnt down a house? This is how they start. Meanwhile, the fish is so big for the pan. So you have a fish where like the head is in the oil, the tail is inside.
I'm so dead.
I'm like, yo, how are we doing
And
this?
the house is on fire.
The kitchen, somehow the fire dies down. I'm like, okay, now we're halfway there. So I'm like, okay, we need to
Turn
deep fry
the-
the other side. The pan off the stove.
what?
Onto the floor, the entire kitchen floods the oil, the entire
What?
kitchen. The fish is there. So
He couldn't
I
find
stand.
anymore.
You know, I stood, I looked at the fish. I'm
It
like,
looked at you.
he looked at me, the oil. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Got my plate, got my
Ate your
fries, went, put on the TV,
And ate your chips.
ate my fries. I continued.
There's
And-
more.
And I had first leave, like, I think to reduce the anger, I had first leave the fish on the floor for like a good 1 or 2 hours. As I contemplate my life, I'm like, I want you to understand, we went to Lunkulu all the way. I was excited about this
Got
fish.
the biggest fish from the middle
Exactly.
of the lake.
I see the pain on his face.
Exactly.
Oh wow.
Remember, also, the other, I like avocado, so I also got my avocado, sliced it on the fries.
You are Bambi.
And
This is so hilarious.
And
It's
so
sad.
the person I went to Lunkulu with, of course, is like, yo, have you cooked? I blue tick him. I blue tick him. I meet him the next day. He's asking me what's going on. I was like, did you cook? I don't answer. I somehow take the conversation away from the fish. It took me a whole week to heal. To tell the story. To tell the story. So fast forward, I think like in September, we go to Nyege Nyege. I was like, guys, I have to buy fish
I have to eat fish.
and eat fish. So I went with vengeance, and indeed I did. I had my fish finally.
But this time you didn't plan to cook.
Ah,
it.
no. Ever since then, I haven't been able
I
to
remember
cook
that
fish.
Nyege road
Wow.
trip because the guy told
I
us.
have to eat fish.
Listen,
Wow. I don't even know if anyone can
went-
top that.
no.
like,
I feel like
I
we're
know
not
you
didn't
allowed
get
to answer.
injured.
Wait, let's
Next
move. Let's
question.
I
move.
know you didn't get injured,
Next
but
question.
No,
we thank
please.
you. We thank you.
I
Yeah,
think
I
his
think
heart was injured. And the fish.
guys.
And you know, for me, the other thing is that because I don't eat chicken a lot, so it's fish that I go to in such situations. So it disappointed me.
Guys, the
and-
next time
I'll send you my
Felix,
list of
please
therapists.
buy him.
Indeed, yeah.
The next time you see Felix, please buy him.
If you even have
fish.
a list of chefs, you can add them onto there. Probably they can make fish for me at home.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not gonna let the rest of us answer.
Wait, no.
because,
No,
yeah,
no.
you cannot.
We cannot.
You cannot. Okay, fine. Next question. If you had the chance, if you had to change your name,
Yeah.
what would your new name be and why?
Woo.
That's well.
like you have
Ambassador Brown.
Been there, done
Like
that.
actually, like
You know,
ambassador first name. Brown.
weirdly the other a month ago I went to an event that had an actual ambassador, like a proper ambassador from an embassy.
Yeah.
But every time people would say ambassador, I would turn. I was like, girl, they're not talking to you.
First name ambassador.
Girl,
last
Last
name.
name
you are
Brown.
not an ambassador.
Okay, that's interesting, Mark.
I mean, I feel like our handles are already us changing our
our
names.
Yeah, so why the Count Macula?
I was always, as a non-sleeper, as everyone who knows me, as a family of insomniac boys, like all the boys, like I don't know where the girls learned how to sleep because I mean I feel like we grew up in the same homes. What's up? But like, I got to watch a lot of night stuff and vampires, Dracula,
So basically, you're a vampire.
Popular. You get. I feel like it fits. Like, but
I'm so bored by your story, but thank you.
Yeah, it's okay.
Be nice to your friend.
No, there's no way. Felix.
I'm going to follow the path of Ambassador Brown. I'll say Gaiwa tribe. Because that's something I hear at events a lot.
Okay.
Hey, Gaiwa tribe
You
boy.
identify as Gaiwa
Like,
tribe.
Gaiwa tribe boy. That's the guy with the tribe. That's the guy. Like I hear it a lot. See, when I'm walking past guys or something like that, or when someone is introducing me.
Okay, that's a good one. I would want to get like, you know, those African names that are short and sweet but cool. For example, Imara. So Imara is Swahili for strong. You get like something that's I can say, oh my God, I'm so African. You get so like, yeah, I think I would probably want that as a name.
Not a Zimbabwean name.
No, please. I'm not precise. Okay, I am, but like I don't want to be called precise. Yeah, and please, I don't not like my name, but if I could, that's what I would.
You know,
change it to,
my mom's other name is Hasasha. Like,
wow.
And like, like my mom's tried by some dope names, but like Hasasha. I remember when Beyonce's Sasha Fierce had come out. I was like, oh, Hasasha Fierce is in the building. But like,
What does Hasasha mean? Do you know?
I have no idea. I know it's lit. It's litty. It's like Hasasha.
You must
No, it sounds cool.
It does sound really. It sounds very exotic.
But it's your mom's name. Let me not joke. Let me not joke.
Why you there?
You can see a mic flying.
Mr. Producer, do we still have time for one more question?
Yeah.
Okay, one more question. Like I said, very pointless questions. Would you rather travel the world for a year on a shoestring budget, or stay in only one country for a year in luxury?
Luxury, baby. I'm a
hello.
soft life girl. That's it.
Wow, that was quick.
Bullion. So we have to be in one country with bullion.
I feel like yes.
First of all, if I've survived 26 years in Kampala, why can't I do 1 year on luxury somewhere else?
You know, you get. I feel like this comes from a place
And
of
you
trauma
see-
for all of us.
And you see, if you have a lot of bullion and you are tired of land, you buy a submarine. You go underwater. But within the same country, so you find a loophole.
Luxury, yeah. So that's all I had today for my pointless questions.
No one wants the shoestring budget.
No way.
You guys are not adventurous.
First of all, you might have to hustle to get visa.
You see.
You get so let's get one visa
And also-
as opposed to trying to get.
And also,
multiple visas.
we've been operating and running this creative journey on a shoestring budget.
budget.
Let's do a luxury.
Please, guys, when you DM us to be on our platforms, we are working on a shoestring budget.
And if you want to get us off of it, please send some money to 624404. That's 624404.
For people of luxury, we have a bank account.
Yeah, you can wire the money.
We can email it to you with a Swift code and a sort code,
everything.
just in case.
Everything.
Oh,
I'll even
wow.
come and thank you personally.
Yeah.
If that's, yeah, I promise.
Damzi can sing for you.
You know.
If you add the extra, we'll bring Ambassador Brown and her.
And my girl band.
10 city. From all the 10 cities where they've gone, we shall bring them.
They even come with the plants this time.
We'll bring our own plants.
You guys,
We're sorry.
You know those Chinese things you read that they relocated a tree?
Just like we relocated Ian out of the
Come
pond.
with your dodo and perform with it.
Damzi bring the shack.
and I wouldn't be here without those plants. If it wasn't for those plants, I would not be on this podcast.
Hallelujah.
We thank them.
For sure. For sure.
And for clarity, they're not talking about the other type of plant.
But also maybe I don't know.
It depends on the day.
But Shari, thanks for coming through.
Thanks for
once
having me,
again.
guys. It's been so much fun.
Thank you for doing all you do for the urban industry.
Thank you for
and also for the film industry, for the photography industry, for
The
you,
creative industry.
For
as
the-
a
Lucy may talk
whole.
about how you
for YouTubers,
We need a part 2 of this episode.
because otherwise
to finish the jazz.
for people who drink liquor also.
Triple distilled twice as smooth, baby. Okay.
They have said liquor, the audience
go
woke
on.
up. You never know. She came with a bag. She made me like, hey, there's this bottle. So
Guys, don't call me today. Okay, when I have my Jamie from Sharii, I'm not sharing.
yeah. And Ian, please stay wherever you are.
Can I take his place? I think I've been
Chew
good.
it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the only way you can recover if probably you wear some money on the account. But your position has been taken.
Has been bidded out.
Send money to Jameson.
Yeah. Or you can send Jameson to the Jameson brand ambassador. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I know.
Yeah,
It's like
sounds the beach.
sending water to the lake, but okay.
Okay.
No, but don't forget as well, Jameson
Hangout, June 24th. Nigerian Alte Artist World will be headlining. We'll also have Akine, Rickman Manrick, DJ Chapat, DJ Cass Baby, DJ Alza, games, food, vibes. Shari Brown herself.
You know,
it's about to be lit.
you add on Selena ticket because guys might ask for tickets.
By the way, guys, for all that, tickets are just 20k. They come with a free cocktail.
With
a
a
lit
cocktail.
cocktail.
Cocktails are just 10k.
Them cocktails
Bottles
is
are
lit.
at a subsidized rate. As in,
Much
we
so.
want you to
So
enjoy.
technically, you're paying 10k because you know that's what it
And
is.
the meats that are there, like there's even good food. Well,
Man, come
if you
through,
want
guys.
your spicy chicken. Anyway,
Come through, guys.
Oh, and
come
Shari
through.
will be there. That's the most important.
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 As usual, thank you to the good people of
Yeah, thank you
Mihati
guys
for hosting
Yeah.
us.
Yes. Woo-hoo.
And also, just in case you're wondering and you thought we were lying, Damzi is here to stay.
By the way, I'm not a guest, guys.
Be a host for real.
Hey, it's for real. Hey. Shout outs to the team, Bruce Melody on the cameras, Hassan on the sound, Israel, color grading, Eric, quick recovery.
Yeah.
We called you to send splash, but you didn't pick.
Eric almost picked a call and fell sick for trying to pick.
But see you next week, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank
Bye.
you.
This is.